welcome to another episode of Studs Up. You know the drill by now. My name is Ryon Scott-Douglas and it's brought to you by talkSPORT Bet. And boy, oh boy, do we have a special episode for you. But I'm going to give the boys their intros because, you know, they've come to expect that by this stage. So, to my left is a Premier League winger who confirmed what we all knew, to be honest with you. He is a lover and definitely not a fighter. It's David Bentley.
I agree with you on that. Just look at me nose.
Oh, no. Don't zoom in on that, will you? Don't zoom in. I'm joined by the other, the third person in this trio who his opinions are so strong. They have their own gravitational pull, ladies and gentlemen. It is Rory Jennings. How are you, sir?
Honoured to be here. Very well, thank you.
Good, good. And I'm pleased to say we're joined by a fourth guest today, boys. Yes. A very special guest, a Chelsea legend who, I don't know him well enough to confirm the love a bit yet, but he's definitely a fighting man. It's Jody Morris. How are you, man?
Very good, very good. Pleased to be here, chaps.
Pleased to have you. We can't start anywhere else, boys, but
I just want, obviously, Rory, I don't want any sort of touching or inappropriate.
Look how close they are.
We'll make complaints to HR. Warn Jody.
Yeah. Let's get into it because, lads, first of all, you've done yourself both proud on the weekend. You had a proper ding-dong, didn't you? Jody, you did come out on top, but my gosh, what a fight it was. How was it? Let's start with you, Benz. How was it? What was the experience like, man? You had the best entrance of all time, potentially.
I'm happy about the showbiz sort of element there. But it was a great experience. All the lads that sort of took part, great lads, raised money for charity. The whole evening went unbelievably well. To see the other side of boxing as well, to actually be in there and sort of understand, you know, the training and being around the fighters, it was tough. The one thing that I take out of it, I didn't mind getting hit, but I wasn't, through the process, I didn't really like hitting people. Because I am a lover and not a fighter. Yeah.
It's not a great boxing strategy,
that. Jody, I was going, bless you. That's why I kept trying to cuddle with you.
He actually walked out and tried to take my head off the first swing. He loaded. I was like, don't like it.
All right, I'm lying, son. I'm lying.
It's when he was missing. That's when he realised he didn't like hitting people.
No, because I wanted to put him out early doors, didn't I? I thought, God, he's going to come at me this one.
Yeah, you did come out swinging, to be fair.
I did. Do you know? I did.
Was that tactical?
Yeah, you did.
It was tactical, but he's great training
Bob and weave.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he kept ducking down. He done so well when he's defeated. Jody's a great lad, and he done so well.
What was it like, Jody, when Bent's come flying at you from the corner?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny actually because Darren Barker in my corner was going, right, when you go out, you take the centre of the ring. He went go body and then head straight away. He's got this little combo that he calls the Roberto Duran. He went Duran straight away. And I thought, okay, in my head, I'll do that. And as I was coming out, I'll see him locked and loaded from about 4 yards away. I was thinking, he's not even close yet. And he was cocking it back already. And I thought, I better wait then. I better wait to let him have a little go first. So, yeah, I managed to move out the way the first couple of big swings that he was coming at me with, and then get to work.
Did it unravel the way that you thought it would? Because obviously you both had your training, which is quite rigorous, and you've got your game plans. Did the game plan, because they say everyone has a plan, so you get a punch in the face. Was that the case? Did it kind of go out the window? Or did you stick to it?
Yeah, I think it does a bit, and because we had like screens in the dressing room, or we could walk out to the balcony and watch the fights that were going on early, and it does become a bit of a slugfest, and everybody involved in any of the boxing community or any of the white collar stuff. I had a few mates there that had done it before, and they were like, "Look, listen, you're gonna think that you're gonna do this, that, and the other." And he went, "You start and go in. It's usually in the first fight where everything goes out the window and you just have a right go." So, yeah, I mean, I was a little bit in some of the sparring sessions that I'd had going into it. I felt I'd boxed better, but like you said, you don't know. He said the unknown. I think that's the. Obviously, the fact that we was all novices and going in there and ain't done it before.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Like, I thought I have to, like, because we kept seeing, like, we had like Dave Coldwell coming in the dressing room, Johnny Nelson, John Ryder, like Kevin Mitchell and all that. Dow obviously was in my corner, but they was going, "You seem to be all right. Like, you're quite cool." And I was like, I'm definitely going to get nervous the closer he was getting to it. And even I'd see my mates and I'd go back up to the room because it was dragging, wasn't it? I kept going back up to the room rather than sitting there and be a little bit uncomfortable, and you bump into your mates who are obviously on the booze and that. You want to swerve them for a little bit. But like, but then you're like, I was thinking, I'm bound to get nervous. And then I didn't, like, which surprised me because obviously, like I said, it was the unknown, so that did surprise me. So I did enjoy it, and I was just gutted that we never got to spend longer with all your mates, your friends, and your family after, because the night was going to be over within an hour or something. Wasn't it? Hour and a bit.
That delay was a killer, wasn't it? Because we were due on about 10:45. So you start getting yourself prepared for the fight, getting yourself up for it. That's what I found difficult. And then I had to shoot back up to my room, exactly the same reasons, because I'm floating around the room. And it was a bit lively. The wine was flowing, wasn't it? The beers were going down. Old Bullard and that were off. He's up, he's rocker. But so I went back up, and that prep, going into the fight, it was it was quite difficult. We didn't go on until about midnight, did we?
Yeah,
because we were talking about you want to enjoy it with everyone that's there, and that was a difficult part of it. But just in the round, I remember the first round when I've gone out and tried to knock him out. But I remember sitting down going, oh my God, I've got to go back out there. You know what I mean? Yeah, when you sit down, you're like, phew. And it is, you can have all the plans in the world, but it's a tough sport.
Were you keep doing any of the training? Like, did you enjoy the training enough to keep doing it?
Yeah, I enjoyed the training process, like being in the gym, being in around the fighters, because you have all the banter and then you're sort of learning the new profession. But it is a unique thing, like how they do it for a profession, and they do it as their livelihood, because you don't understand, well, I didn't understand until I got in there, about the sparring element, and the boys are doing 2 or 3 sort of sparring sessions, so pretty much fighting the way we were in the ring, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and sort of every week.
That's
and
incredible.
getting hit and understand. So it was it's an unbelievable discipline, and they deserve all the credit they sort of get for the fitness and the dedication and putting your head on the line. It's hard.
That's what it
putting
is,
your head there.
That is definitely the thing as well, where you touched on going, it was just like the boxing community. So I was lucky enough to train at a couple of gyms. There was 12 threes in Aldgate East, which Dal Barker would do bits with me. But then I was training at Fitzroy Lodge. And like the group of like guys that go and box there, they all knowing that I'm going there and having my first fight, I'd spar with so many different people, shapes, sizes, levels, but they all try to help you. You know, when they go, because they knew, because they've been in and around the boxing community for so long, they know how hard it is. Yeah. And they would just do anything to try and help you. They'd let you land sometimes. They wouldn't hit you as hard as maybe they could have done. They were just trying to help kind of get the fundamentals a bit better and blocking and maybe moving. But I had the sparring side of it. A couple of hidings I took in sparring were definitely worth it come fight night. So it would have been too much of a shock to the system if you start taking...
You got to know what a punch in the face feels
like.
Exactly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We've all had a... we've all had a fight before, but just not in a controlled environment. So it was. But again, the respect level for everyone involved in boxing. Like I had Steve at Fitzroy Lodge who was coaching me, all the lads there. The respect for people behind the scenes as well, like the cut men and everybody that coach people, and not for a load of money as well, helping the community, the local community people stay out of trouble. Like it's like having I know there's not many youth clubs nowadays, but it's like having somewhere for some of the kids from the estates or with troubled backgrounds to go to, and they're just continuously helping people. And even though boxing's a brutal sport, it can actually help people get out. Help people get out of, and it is a gentleman's sport. I mean, it's hard to say that at times when you're going some of the tough days you have, but it is a gentleman's
I'm full of
sport.
admiration for both of you. Genuinely, it's pretty much the only thing that I would never do.
Well, we're campaigning. Obviously, we've had talks about sort of the greatest pundits and YouTubers from the UK. Obviously, Chelsea go up against Tottenham and Arsenal. And Rory, I've put you forward.
I'll do that actually.
Yeah, just fancy it. What would you reckon?
Oh, I'd like to see him in your nice shorts that you wear on. I'd like to see him in nice little high ones, having a little swing.
Can we tighten these up, please? Can we tighten these up?
If Jody will spar you, he'll make sure that you're fully ready. No, I think you should do it. Rory, honestly, I feel like
it's terrifying. I am genuinely full of admiration for both of you, because I just think it's a wild thing to do, to get in a ring like that, all eyes on you. The risk is through the roof. You know that image as well. If it goes, you know that image. Live forever, doesn't it?
No, I know.
Yeah,
papped.
Yeah,
I think that's what every fighter has, and that's why the gentleman sort of element has it, because they're sort of humbled that they know that at any point, if you're not on it, anyone can get knocked out.
Yeah,
and
it can be more severe, can't it?
And respect that.
It can be more severe.
Well, no, definitely.
When sometimes people can be quite sneery about the money that boxers earn. It's literally putting their life on the line.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Especially when you see what the people that are not in the top 1% of the boxers are getting, the trouble
fights at York Hall and all that,
and pain they have to go to, is is really, really difficult.
Do you know what we have to say is, I'm sorry to say it, Bence, but you were the winner on the day, and I will.
Feelings. You don't worry about my feelings. He was a worthy winner.
You were both good. You took the title, right?
Yeah.
Would you fight again? And if you were to fight again, do you have an opponent in mind? I feel like one of those,
call outs.
Yeah. Oh, but maybe not the opponent bit. But would you fight again?
Charlie Austin.
I ain't thought about that. I mean, it's one of those where you go, I loved it. I loved the experience. It was a good sort of 7 weeks, like training and build up to it. I don't know. I haven't thought. I think so. Well, I think some, if they want to get me in the ring like now,
hey, they'll probably come knocking.
Yeah,
well, probably will.
I don't know.
Who would we have him fighting? Yeah,
I don't know. Well, would you fight again? And who would you like to fight?
I don't know. I'd be part of the promotional sort of team. I thought I did all right. Obviously, the ring walk. I'd organise the ring walk, press conferences. Very good at that.
Yeah. Part of the promotional team.
Would I get in? I think obviously it was all for charity as well. Yeah. And obviously to help and support Stacky and his new venture and the occasion to do what you do. And you wanted to. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing to get in there and be able to do that. And would I do it again? I probably potentially would I enjoy it? I know, because I know what's coming. I'm like, I don't want to be here.
Look, well, it's a pleasure to have you here, Jody. I mean, considering you guys were in the ring with each other, it's great, and we've had the debrief.
He's
now.
a great guy, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I've spoke to you off camera a few times now, and I think the same thing. And while we got you here, and I'm sure Rory's going to enjoy this bit as well, we're going to have a bit of a deep dive into your career, if you don't mind. Just have a couple of questions. So, ears up, Rory, and if you want to chip in, by all means.
Mate, I was at the debut.
Were you really?
Youngest player in Premier League.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Youngest Premier League
5-0 Borough, right? Gavin Peacock.
Yeah.
Gavin Peacock.
Yeah.
It was the first game I ever went to on my own.
Oh, really?
Yeah, without parental supervision. I was in the benches.
No way. Amazing.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I really do.
Well, let's talk about it. About you, when you came through Chelsea's academy and you broke into a first team during that era. I'm looking at the names here. I mean, you got Dennis Wide, Ruud Gullit, Roberto Di Matteo. What was that like being surrounded by, personalities like that, players of that caliber?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. Difficult at times as well, especially Wisey was tough for me because I used to clean his boots. So I remember I played as a 15-year-old in the I don't know if it was the Youth Cup or it was like a Southern Junior Floodlit Cup game at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah,
and I found out after this was how it went. But I played as like 2 years younger than the youth team and ended up doing all right. And Wisey pulled the kit man at the time, Terry Burnham, went, he's on my boots when he starts here, which was about 18 months away. So I knew that I'd be cleaning Wisey's boots. But he half put you through the ringer, so you had to lay their kit out in the morning, and if there was a sock missing or whatever, they wouldn't blame the kit men or anything like that. It'd be like, no, you're in charge of all my kit. So you've got to make sure. And you had 3 players each side, him, Andy Myers and David Lee, who both of them were a lot easier on me. But Wisey, you'd hear him just shouting your name in the morning. So he was difficult from that aspect, but then also he was demanding of you on the pitch as well. So, playing with some amazing players that kept coming over from overseas was a great experience. But also there was an element to it where you're going, stop signing all these players.
How
I want to get in the
first
team.
How am I meant to get in the team?
Do you know what I mean? And
Matteo.
do you know what I mean? You have that moment, but then you have an opportunity, and obviously the older you get, you then go, you've got an opportunity to learn from them as well as compete with them, and I think that helps. But yeah, I mean, it was good times for Chelsea. Chelsea were on the change. Glenn Hoddle sort of put the foundations in at the football club, and we changed the way that we was playing, which suited me because even I got in and around the first team at a young age, I was a lot skinnier than I am now, and weighed a lot less. So we had to play a certain way for me to be able to do okay at that point, because I was obviously I'm not on the biggest side, and me and Rory know that we know what that's like. So
I've never brought it up,
but it was a great, it's a great education coming through with people like obviously Hoddle and Gullit and people like Vialli and like
Wise
that.
wasn't the biggest though either, was he? Wise?
No,
I was tempted to ask what size boot he was.
SALAH.
Yeah.
No, Wisey was a 6.5, but he was a good couple of inches taller than me. Yeah, he was
high-tech, right? 6.5 high-tech.
Yeah, awful boots.
Always high-tech.
Yeah.
Dennis Wise, always high-tech.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, he was awful boots, and which you're devastated with, because sometimes you give your boot boy like some of your boots that you have, and I was I wouldn't be seen dead in them high techs, like even as a young kid. Like so, Zola was more my size, but we had John Spencer, who wasn't the biggest as well at the time.
He's a great player.
Yeah, very good.
He's a great player. I loved him.
Right
he was
personality as well.
Was he?
Rory's off.
He was a great. Do you know we played Liverpool? We drew 2-2 with Liverpool. I think Steve McManaman scored 2 for them. John Spencer scored 2 for us. One of them was just unreal. Do you know the goal I'm on about? Dan Petrescu chips it in.
Yeah, it was like
and he volleyed.
It's
unbelievable goal. And obviously he had an iconic moment in Vienna. He ran the length of the pitch for us in Vienna. And scored.
Right, okay,
94, 95.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
amazing moment.
So you talked about the way your playing style and how the kind of the style of the team shifted towards you. Is there a coach or is there a player that sticks in mind that influenced your playing style and the way that you like to play? I'll ask you that as well, actually, Ben, because I don't know if I've asked you that.
I think where I was lucky at Chelsea, Glenn Hoddle was a big influence on me, just because of like his technical ability and the way we started playing 3-5-2, and you'd pass out from the back, and that was a huge shift in the football club. And even though when he first came in, I was in the under 15s, I think, or under 14s. He made everyone throughout the club play the same way, and like, right, we're not booting it from the back now, and stuff like that. So I think that had a massive effect on me. But I'd probably have to say I had a couple of coaches that I went to Lilleshall for 2 years, and there was a coach there, Keith Blunt, that was a massive influence on me, both on and off the pitch. When I went there, I was a kid from the estate and from London, and felt, I don't know whether it was like the old small person syndrome or whatever, felt that I should be going over the top in tackles just to make my impact and stuff like that. And he kind of went, no, hold on a minute, you can still be difficult to play against and tough without being dirty. Like, you don't have to be dirty.
Was he the first person to put that on your radar? Sorry, Ben.
Yeah, it definitely was, because he was like, you ain't going to get by like that once you move up higher. Like, you need to have a little bit of the dark arts about you, because you ain't going to go and overpower or run past people and stuff like that. But you know what, Wisey was renowned for stuff like that. But and I had a coach at Chelsea early as well, Bob Osborne, that was really good. Like, even I think JT spoke about him. He was really good from an individual perspective about you working on your game. So I was very lucky. And like I said, when you get in and around some of the people in the first team, if you're not trying to take elements or take advice from the level of player that you were playing with, then
it's an amazing period, because when that influx came, a lot of players who were there initially, so when Hoddle came in off the back of Porterfield, that team basically got removed one by one. And you either had to evolve your game or become, and you managed to stay. And Wise managed to, like, even somebody like John Spencer, who's a brilliant player. Yeah. He didn't stay, did he? No. Michael Dubry didn't say. You were there for a lot longer. Yeah. Wise went from being sort of a winger to a commanding central midfielder. Yeah. He was keeping Didier Deschamps out of the team.
Yeah, and it kind of affected their games from an aspect where, I mean, Wisey could play. Like, people always want to think about Wisey of being like just a tough, like Wisey could play, and same with John Spencer. It was just that I think when Ruud Gullit come in and he wanted to move a few people on, I think some people were then like, I'm not going to go from being a regular to then going on the bench and stuff. But yeah, as I said, the transition around that period, everyone always thinks about Roman Abramovich and he changed the football club, but it definitely started with Glenn Hoddle. And then I think Vialli then took it on to another level as well. I think he was brilliant from a tactical aspect for me to learn from, just because of his his education in Italy and how they were from pressing from the front and stuff like that. He then took it for me to another level where it was opening my eyes a little bit. A lot of it was about, like I said, defending from the front. He was that type of player anyway, Luca. Even though he'd score goals and his movement was amazing, he never ever shied away from, no, I'm the first line of defence.
That was an amazing moment.
Premier League days, weren't they?
Do you know what that's just reminded me of? There's an iconic Chelsea celebration. And obviously you feature heavily in it. You know, when Di Matteo scores against Middlesbrough, you mentioned Vialli. We signed Vialli. That's the front two for Juventus when they won the European Cup was Vialli and Fabrizio Ravanelli. Chelsea signed Gianluca Vialli. Fabrizio Ravanelli went to Borough. The first home game that season, Wednesday night, we played Borough. It was 0-0. We've got ours. They got their centre forward 0-0. Di Matteo scores with about 10 minutes to go up the other end from
second game of the season.
Second game, yeah. First
that
home
was my
game.
first start ever.
Was it
my first start? Yeah. So both my debuts, my official debut came the season before against Borough in the 5-0, but I come on a sub, and that was my first start. Second,
and we won 1-0, and it's an amazing celebration. You'll be able to find a picture of it. It's iconic for Chelsea fans. Di Matteo scores from distance, and he just sort of lies down and puts his arm in the air, and then all the players come in,
like he was on the sofa, just
on the sofa like that. And then like Erland Johnson's behind, Jody's features. Jody, you come running in,
and it weren't planned or anything. I just found myself lying behind him, going, "Oh, this looks good." Thinking, "All right, we're doing this, are we?"
Yeah,
but it weren't planned. It absolutely weren't planned. So it ended up coming out. Yeah, like I think
I've recreated that. It's like a real thing.
We need some more of that, don't we? Put none of that knee sliding. We need somebody else.
Yeah, proper celebrations.
We need to bring that back, make a campaign.
Agreed.
On that front, just to go back to your Lillishall, you did 2 years at Lillishall, so you left home.
Yeah.
You went up there, lived there.
Boarding school, so it's like a boarding school.
Yeah,
who was your era? Who else was in your?
In my era, we had like Mark Gower, Michael Branch, who was at Everton. He come from Neil Clement, he actually signed for Chelsea at the end of Lillishall. He played quite a lot of games for West Brom. He did play for Chelsea, but like sort of like the year above us, we had like Jamie Carragher, Marlon Brooms, and then the year below you'd have Wes Brown, Michael Owen, Michael Ball.
Right.
But it was a good grounding, and the way that it prepared you to then go into your youth team life, you know what it's like. Yeah. We was already kind of, I think, ahead of the game because we was training every day. We was learning what it was like to just fully focus on football and be around a group of lads. But as far as an experience, it was brilliant. It got me out of where I grew up, which there's obviously moments when you're sort of like at that age that you can get dragged into a few things, and it was a great experience. But both like from a football education, but as like a young man trying to grow up and maybe mature a little bit.
Yeah, from a psychological point of view, that's what I mean on that Lillishall. Were the lads there that sort of struggle with that environment? I mean, for yourself, obviously you're a strong character. Some definitely struggled being away from home and stuff like that. Thing, I mean, you'd hear the lads like in the corridor of like, we all used to live like on the top floor of it, and you could hear people like going out because there was like a payphone. It's not like now where I'm sure if it was going now, everyone would have the phone. But you had like a payphone at the top of the corridor, and you'd hear some lads like crying on the phone. Like, son, I want to come home. I don't want to. It's an incredible experience.
So had that changed then? Because you're a little bit younger.
Yeah.
But had that so Lillishall stopped?
I'm obviously 15 years. Sort of only a few.
So had it changed by the time? Because what did you do? St George's Park.
I went up to Lillishall for my England trials as a 14-year-old.
Oh, it was
so I went up there just for the trials, sort of 2-week trials sort of element, but they'd stopped it due to
I think the last sort of time I think that they was taking people in was I don't know if it was Joe Cole's age. I think like Jermaine Defoe. I think like and then but because all the academies in the country were trying to become academies, they was more looking and adopting a lot of the things that Lillishall was doing, to be fair, like schooling. Chelsea school their players now, like, do you know what I mean? A lot of the bigger academies do that, and trying to get them not to take part of other sports at schools because they're like risking injury and stuff like that. I think they adopted a lot of the stuff that maybe Lillishall was doing. But
Arsenal did it. I went to a school. I left my school that I went to with all my mates, and I left in the end of year 8, year 9. They teamed up with it was called Hymes Park in sort of Chingford, and we all went, all 10 players. They did it for a few years, but it didn't work. You know, it was quite a difficult environment to sort of grow up. But we were training every day. Missing out on certain subjects, you know, like PERE, they sort of structure their development. But it was a struggle, and coming out of that, it just shows. And I'd say there was 10 guys in my year and 10 guys, and we were training every day, high dietary requirements, getting the best training. There was a few that made it sort of lower down, but I was only really one that come out of that system. But I think it's quite difficult to know what to do with kids. I think from your manager and coaching sort of
we're all
head
different,
now.
Aren't we? So you don't go like you as maybe strong enough from a mental. It might even be the physical side of it as well. Some kids don't adapt to training every day because they're not used to it. It's like when we were younger, we'd go out and we'd play on the estate on concrete all day, every day because there was nothing else you could do. Like, unless one of your mates had like a Spectrum or a Commodore 64 or something, and you'd be around his house for a little bit. But I never had one, so it was like you'd be out the house. Whereas a lot of the kids now are not doing as much of that, so maybe the bodies don't become as robust. But it's a fine balance, I think, because we had, like I said, we were schooling, when I was coaching at Chelsea, we were schooling the majority of them, and then you'd have like a couple. I remember Tammy Abraham and Fikayo Tomori, never done the schooling at Chelsea. They wanted to stay living at home and coming in sort of twice a week. They ended up doing all right. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think it depends on the individual, like what may suit some and what suits some is maybe not great for others and stuff like that. And I think that's probably one of the hardest thing in development coaching or looking at like young players, whether it be in recruitment or how you're supposed to develop them, is that you can't treat one kid the same as the other. You've got to like kind of try and adjust. You can give your overall feeling of what we think is best practice, but then sometimes best practice for somebody else is not for you. You know, you have to come off them and they go, do you know what, you're maybe got a couple of years of development to come, that you're going to be a late bloomer. Do you know what I mean?
Where do you feel on like age sort of element? Because they're bringing them up, they're bringing them into the football clubs at 4, 5, 6 years old now. And I see them sort of floating around the sort of my kids' sort of leagues and so on. Do you agree with that? Like from my perspective, I feel like it's too soon.
Yeah, I think it's a tough question, because if you're not doing it, say for instance, I'll use Chelsea as an example. If you're not looking at bringing kids in at 6, 7, which they do, you're then going to miss out on the kids. Because everyone else is doing it. Do you know what I mean? So it's a difficult question, but I then do think that there's obviously a responsibility side from both the academies and the parents to go, let's not make it the be all and end all at 6 and 7 and 8. They've got to have fun and let them do other sports. Let them do. When they get older and you're like, okay, we're now 13, 14 and you're looking like you could have maybe a chance here, you've then got to then protect them a little bit and go, right, we don't want you to overdo it. Don't want you to burn out. We don't want you to be going to play.
Do you think you could tell at that young? 13? Like, you know, when you were 13?
No, I think listen, I was one of the better players and I think you know when you're in and around it, but you still wouldn't be able to tell, especially when...
So, you know when you were just playing in your flats, were you just better than everyone?
Well, I was always...
Jody, say it. Come on, Jody.
Yeah, I mean, playing in your estate and you're just... and everyone's like, what the fuck?
But you would, though. You ask people from my area, they'll go, yeah, I was. But one of the best things for me was I'd always play on the estate with the older lot. So when it came to going up against bigger and stronger players throughout, they was always bigger than me, but and stronger. You go, I actually learned how to maybe adapt and do a little bit better like that.
This is perfect, because I'm gonna pivot here and talk about the bigger and stronger players. Who's the toughest player that you've ever faced on the football
Vieira.
pitch? Is it simple as that?
So like, it's not. If the word's toughest, it would definitely be Vieira. I'm not necessarily saying he's the best I played against, because I think that there's like people like Xavi.
You love the techie boys, don't you?
I think he was one of the best midfielders to ever live. But toughest, Vieira treated me like an under 11 every single time I played against him.
Did he really?
Weirdly enough, we were talking about this yesterday with Siddy, because obviously he was around. He was a year above you, Siddy, wasn't he? But I was just saying that Arsenal group, for me, I think that when we played against your Liverpools or your Man Uniteds, I felt that they let you play a little bit, and I think it wasn't as difficult. Don't get me wrong, you wouldn't win all the time, or they'd beat you a lot of the time, but that Arsenal team, I felt everyone was over 6 foot, apart from you talking about the Lundbergs. Everyone was strong. Ray Parlour, Petit,
Gilberto,
Vieira, Bergkamp, Henry. Then you go. Let's not
Bentley?
Talk about. But again, they stopped you playing like from a tactical aspect, but then also physically. Vieira would flick the ball over your head. Then he'd run past you. Then he'd put his elbow in your face. Then he'd pick a pass. Then he'd it was horrible. And I just thought that, Vieira basically for me.
What about you, Ben? I'm going to ask you.
On that, because I always talk about being sort of around the Invincibles at the time, training every day. People always ask me, I think we've discussed it, about their sort of technical, how good were they? The biggest praise I can give them is how physical and how... I don't know whether to say violent, but they were, within their tackles, within their...
just winners, weren't it?
Just winners, aggression,
which is both,
which is unbelievable. Only in training as well.
If
you went to Highbury and you decide that you're going to have an expansive game of football and you're going to try and make this a techie game of football, they'll beat you. And then if you go there, the other way of winning would be to go there and maybe adopt a Sam Allardyce Bolton Wanderers approach. And go there, right? Well, let's let them know we're there. We're going to be like the crazy gang. They'll batter you.
But
so they could do both.
I think Arsenal showing the actual team at the minute. They're showing sort of signs of that, where they are
Yeah,
aggressive and disciplined.
They're like a really glamorous, crazy gang, aren't they?
Yeah.
I like that.
Long
I want to be
throw-ins,
part of that.
long throw-ins, goals from set pieces, big number 9. It's John Fashioning.
Yeah.
But even if you go back to that period and you go, that's why Arsene Wenger deserves such credit, because he took that style of play that Arsenal played around that time. Obviously, before him with your George Graham, it was a totally different style of play.
Yeah.
Kept an element from it, which was brilliant. The way that the back four used to work and all that.
1-0 to the
But then just grew it to a different level where you go, and Rory's right. I think that they could beat you in so many different ways, and it was just difficult to play against. And when you have Henry on the pitch as well,
that helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then you got Dennis Bergkamp, and I find it very amazing. If Ryan and I were having a conversation without you two here, we would talk about Dennis Bergkamp as an artist and whatever. As soon as you're lucky enough to be around professional footballers, they go, God, he was nasty.
Yeah,
He
you saw Jody on your gesture. It's just like little elbow.
I remember, but even that time, it's like I remember when I first played against Vieira. I think it was '97 at the Bridge, and it was Wrighty and Bergkamp up the top. And I'm sure Bergkamp was playing. But like I had put in a tackle on Lee Dixon, and the way that Wrighty reacted to my tackle to Lee Dixon, I can't tell you like the words he was shouting back
really
to Patrick and what to do to me, and then going, you little going, you smash him, who do you think? And then I remember going, like I'd heard about Wrighty from Michael Doobie the season before, where he loved Ian Wright, like so many of the boys in our team, like the black lads worshipped it. Like it was like Ian Wright was like unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like even though he was an Arsenal player, they used to do his celebrations and all that. And then I came in after when Doobs played him, and I walked in. I went, "Oh, you done great," because he done really well against Wrighty, and he was like, Ian Wright's a prick. He's a prick. And I'm like,
we'll bleep that.
He just said that, and I was like, oh, really? And the devastation levels from Doobs was unbelievable. And then we walked in the players' bar after, and Wrighty was going, Doobs, and
just on the pitch.
And Doobs had just spent 5 minutes hammering him to me, like absolutely telling me all the things he was saying. Like when we're talking about dark arts, Wrighty was, and then he went, all righty, walked over there and hugged him. So I knew the season before going, Wrighty's going to be like that, and whatever. Like you, and then he was doing the same. And I remember thinking, I told him where to go as well, thinking whatever. But what he was shouting down for the players to do to me because I'd left a little bit on Lee Dixon.
Yeah. That's
fascinating, isn't it?
It's fascinating. I love hearing it. I love it.
Give me your toughest opponent on the pitch while we're here.
Oh. It's not toughest opponent, but mine was Paul Scholes.
Was it?
It just being at Old Trafford, and I remember just going up against him as part of a 3-man midfield. And honestly, the way when you talk about Xavi and players like that, you know, people are getting on the ball and they're seeing it 3 or 4 times quicker than everyone else on the pitch. And I remember just instances where I've gone to close him down to show, like, Gaffer, I'm closing him down, and it's come into him from the left back, and he's played it into his front man while he's facing that way, got round me, and then whilst he's got round me at a 30-yard like ball, and when you're going, I don't know what just happened there. Yeah. And it was not from an aggressive point of view, just from a talent, to see a player move around the pitch the way that he did. It was really impressive. You know, when you're out there going, that is class. Because looking at him, again, he's on the smaller side, guys, but just seeing him, you don't feel that he's going to do that and command that on the pitch, but to be out there and see the way he moves and the way he played and his passing,
so the height's real.
Get the ball away. The
amount of quotes you get about people saying that former professionals talking about Paul.
But it talks about it's a mentality. It's how quick the computer works, and it's a different level.
And it's the level of. I think you'd have players that can do little moments like people like Scholes was able to do, but. Scholes would do it continuously for a game. Like, so the artist side of him, where you go, he's just controlled a whole football game just by people giving him the ball. Where you're going, I'll decide what we're going to do today, whether I'm going to toy with my midfielder, flick it round corners, get it back, 1-2s, or if you want to sit off me, I'll just go right there's a 70-yarder to your feet. Like, go and attack. Like, do you know what I mean? He had that.
I think in that, a bit like the boxing, when you step into the ring, and it's a bit like football, until you step onto the pitch, you've got under the lights as well. You've got 50,000 people screaming at you. You're looking around. You've got 20 other players, 21 other players on the pitch who are all big stars. you got to go out there and be that man, and to do it continuously every time. It don't matter when we talk about the greats that have been in the Premier League and for the period of time signing the world's best to come and play, Scholesy,
But that's
players
it,
like
innit?
that go out
Fergie
continuously
was
and do
smashing
it.
the transfer,
Unbelievable.
British transfer record, signing the best, they winning doubles, and whatever they did, whoever they were signing, the little ginger fella out of Oldham, first man on the team, like no matter what,
easily, yeah.
11 league titles against. Well, like for context, Chelsea have won 6.
Yeah.
Paul Scholes won 11.
It takes a lot to do that.
Yeah, and
It
the
takes a
point
lot.
of like that Bence is saying there is like continuously doing it. You got to remember, like people like Scholes and Keane and people like that. You're like, do you know the amount of people that would be dreaming of, right, how I'm going to stop Paul Scholes today? And you go, right, this is what you're going to do. You have all this plan in your head. I'm going to do this, blah blah blah, and he'll go, all right, yeah, well, you can do that. I'll just do this. Like, do you know what I mean? He had an answer for a lot of, and you go, those. I think the longevity side of football sometimes gets overlooked when we're talking about how great some of these were. Don't get me wrong. There's another side to it where people put arms and legs on how great some people were because they're now not playing. But you could never say that about people like
Paul Scholes.
Like those.
Look what happened. Do you remember when he pulled him out of retirement? Fergie pulled him out of
I
retirement.
know, yeah.
He went
Yeah.
and buy boots.
Down the road. He ran across the road, didn't he?
Went across the road to
yeah.
buy boots and then knock Man City out of the cup.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, wait, what?
It's an unbelievable story. Even on in international fronts, Paul Scholes, the journey that he had within England, that he didn't get that central role.
I know.
Couldn't believe
That's
it. I think it's one of the biggest mistakes made in our international.
But
sort of era.
even with that, you're going. Lamps and Gerrard at that point were doing maybe slightly better than him for a central midfield role. But you go, that's where it annoys me.
Where a good
where you're
manager's
going,
got to make it
play
work.
free in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
This is why the FA aren't
don't
fit
go
for purpose.
4-4-2.
Yeah.
No,
play
exactly.
free.
Yeah.
You waste those 3 players that we're talking about. You give those three amazing, like the amount of ammunition you're giving in those 3, and you give it to an idiot like Steve McLaren.
It's so
I think we're finding the same problem from your coaching and managerial sort of perspective. To look at, we're going to play in hot conditions in the World Cup coming up. Do you look at, obviously the England team done very well in the recent games. Do you look at it and look at is it Wharton at Crystal Palace, somebody that can get on the ball, somebody that we can sit in the hole and dictate the game, like that's, which other countries have.
Yeah. You need
You're
that
going
balance.
into that hot climate.
Calm it down.
Like we're going in, you can't have these sort of physical players that are bombing forward all the time. I think we're encountering that problem. We've got so many talented players, but we need to make a decision on who's that. What would you do in that position?
Do you know what? At the moment, I think you're right, and I love Adam Wharton. I think he's such a cultured footballer. Like he takes it in all, but I have to say at the minute, you're going Anderson has been phenomenal.
Anderson's
brilliant. It's been brilliant.
And I do think that there's an element sometimes that we don't just chuck it all on whoever the deepest midfielder is going to be. Like people want to call Deck out that he weren't any good. Like in the 6, is like, Deck can play in the 6, by the way, no problem whatsoever. But you just don't want to take away from what he can do from the other side. But I'm like, people overlook sometimes the fullbacks in influence in that way of playing as well. Is that sometimes it's the way in which you're giving the ball to the 6. It's the angles that are surrounding the 6 when you're giving him the ball. Like, and I don't think that we done that great in the tournament previously gone. In the last few games for England, we've been doing very well, but like I said, and you're right, the hot conditions, it's important that we look after the ball better in tournaments that we've got. We've had the other side of it where we've got results from playing poorly, but one thing you will know about Tuchel and people like Anthony Barry on the staff, they're not going to leave no stone unturned. They would have thought of anything prep. They're very big on what the squad is like from a whole. People that are obviously going to be left out need to be on board as well. It needs the harmony of the group needs to be good. And when you've got people like Harry Kane performing at the level he's performing at the minute, I mean, we've got a chance.
Well, Bence has done this beautifully, getting you onto insight and coaching and stuff. Because I want to talk a little bit about that.
You can hear his passion for
you
football
can.
and passion for coaching. It draws me in. I just want to hear more of it. But
it's let's hear a little bit more. Actually, is it something that you always had in the back of your mind that you wanted to do? Is to become a coach?
Yeah, I felt that, and I go back to people like Keith Blunt. I know it seems obviously it's a bit easier to say it in hindsight, but when he was talking to me about when I was coming to the end of my time at Lillyshaw, he was very much like going, I could put you in control of the team and I could focus on something else because I knew that you see things on the pitch. And he says you'll find it the older you get that you'll start looking at it from a perspective of maybe wanting a coach. And Luca, I used to have conversations with Luca Vialli when he was the manager, and I used to ask him questions about like the coaching side of it. And then at a later stage, there was Derek McInnes that I worked under, who was a great manager, who's doing amazing for Hearts at the moment. And he was the same. He was like, look, you've got to do your coaching badges because you're going to be a coach, basically. And so I started my coaching badges in Scotland when I was 28, 29.
Oh, right, okay.
So I always knew I didn't finish them in Scotland. I finished them when I retired at Chelsea. But I always knew I would want to move into it. And I felt the transition from going from a player to a coach, I felt it was quite easy from being on the grass, but there's the other side to coaching that you need to brush up on and you need to get better at, which Neil Bath at Chelsea Academy was brilliant for me with, where he was like, no, I know you're good on the grass already. So I used to train with the under 21s, and sometimes the manager like Dermot Drummy and Andy Myers would go, right, again, we don't have to coach him now because you're coaching whilst you're training, because I'd only just retired. But there's the other side of it where you go, you've got to learn about your organisation, you've got to manage staff, you've got to know what players you've got coming in, you've got to set what you're doing in the session, your system that you're going to play, your session design. Like there's a load of it you've got to present in front of people. So Neil Bath would go, right, Roman Abramovich has got people coming over today over the first team building that want to know a little bit more how the academy works. You're going to present to them today. Go with the analyst guys, get a few slides that I want you to talk about what we do here, but you're presenting to them because you need to learn what it's like to then present to the boys. You need to articulate yourself well. You need to not stutter. You need you won't get any good at it until you start failing at it. So he was brilliant for me, Neil Bath. He saw maybe my potential as a coach and was like, yeah, but you've got to you're good at that because it's natural, but you've got to improve on this area. So little things like that were really good for me when I first retired, because I probably retired too early, and getting into the coaching was definitely what I wanted to do. But I was lucky enough to be at Chelsea where they challenged the coaches.
And broke all sorts of records. When you were the under 20, what were you?
No, I was under 18 manager
under
for 2 years. Yeah, we won
everything both seasons.
Yeah, we won
literally everything.
Yeah, quadruple, treble the first year. Then they added another trophy to try and catch me out.
On the Jody,
and then I won the quadruple the next year.
I only lose to winners.
I don't know if they'll say that at Swindon. No, it was a good side. You're lucky enough to work with some great young kids, but like I said, there was a real focus on not only producing players at Chelsea but producing coaches.
Do you know what? I don't know. I'm gonna ask a follow-up question, but I don't know if you've noticed Bent's right. We've added another string to his bow. I don't know if you've noticed it, but he's just talking from a boxer's point of view. So
God, what am I doing? I've got another personality. I've got another personality to add to the 10 others.
Yeah, you know. What we like us boxers.
Oh, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I did clock that.
Is that what I'm going on?
It's cracking.
I'm with you.
That's amazing.
But you can see on that coaching and management, and a lot of like Jody and a lot of my pals, Jonathan Woodgate, loads of lads are doing it now, and the commitment and the level of detail that you need to have. I mean, it's incredible. You've got to be, and to go in and be a success. It's not easy, and to be obviously a success. A group of 18-year-olds and get the treble and anot's bonus one.
Yeah, I mean, it's never been done before, and it ain't been since. So,
here he is.
Love it. Get in there.
You mentioned Swindon, right? Talk to me about that experience, what you learned from it, and kind of coming out the back of it, what you'd say your management style is.
I learned a lot from it, from an aspect of probably what I should have done before I went in there, as far as the questions I should have asked when I was getting interviewed for the job. Because I was going to have meetings with the technical director and my agent and stuff like that, and I probably didn't ask enough questions about what was going on at the club.
That's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was just thinking I'd missed out on some really, really decent big jobs in the Championship, and I was close. I had decent feedback from the people that I was interviewing with, and it got to the point where I hadn't been able to get back in, and it was a bit of a box ticker for some of the jobs that I was maybe losing out with. I wasn't getting sort of another interview. It was like, yeah, you're just experienced at, you've coached at a good level in the Championship, in the Champions League, in the Premier League, as an assistant, but you haven't managed at that level. So maybe you're just missing out on a little bit of the experience side. So I thought, right, well, I need to do something where they can't throw that sort of one at you, the experience one. And then when I went in there, like, as I said, we had 1 day left of the transfer window when I went in there, and they was dragging out getting the deal done. I remember thinking, what's this about? And then I think it was 2 days before I actually ended up going in that they sold 3 of their most experienced players.
Right.
And so I was like, what's going on here? But you know, when you're in then, like, I'm not actually signed, but going, they was like, look, we've had to do that because we feel that the way we're going to be working, and you're going to be working with younger players, and we got to build, and we got to do better. And then I remember speaking to the owner, and he was saying, look, I'll come to the training ground with you on like the first week. You tell me what changes you need at the training ground, so you can work to the best of your ability and help the players. And I remember going in on the first day, and I'd spoke to one of the analysts, and he's like, right, I want to do a presentation to the boys. And he walked me into this. So it wasn't their training ground, it's a council place, which happens a lot in League One and League Two and all that. It's no problem. I played at St Johnstone, and we would do similar. So I had no qualms about anything to do with that. But as we was walking in to set up like the projector for a presentation in this hall, there was like inflatables and slides being set up, and they went, no, sorry, you can't come in here. It's like half term. You're
joking?
Yeah, you can't have a meeting in here. So it was like, right, okay, no problem. I'll just have to do it on the grass, because there was nowhere inside the training ground to put like a presentation on, because the screen that was in one of this room where you would do it was too small. So I was like, you'd either have to do it back at the stadium, or like, I went, no problem, it's the first one, I'll just speak to him on the grass, like no worries. But I soon found out that the owner came in 2 days later, and he was like, right, there was nowhere for the staff to have a meeting, right? So you couldn't, where you'd come into the training ground, there was like, say all of us are in a room like now, so you have an analyst, couple of coaches or whatever. There's like a moving partition that is just standing there that separates where the players would then sit and have food, or where they just chill. They'd only eat. There was nothing else to do at the training ground. There's no gym. Whenever it was gym day, you'd have to drive 40 minutes to the stadium to then work out. So you couldn't do anything at the training ground. But I said, I need 2 containers. So I thought I'd help the players out with, they don't have to travel all the way back to the stadium to do their gym work. Or if we was to do any analysis or anything, they don't have to do that. We can set it up in this big container, because the owner had access to stuff like that. And I said, and I need a container so I can have either meetings with players, but also meetings with my staff where the players can't hear what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, they were just there. So that's
insane.
that separation of where everyone is there. It's like there's nothing. So it'd be like someone talking behind that little partition. So like, you can't have meetings at the training. You can't do all this. And he said he was going to do it, didn't do it. Then the technical director was not in and around the training ground. So you're finding yourself going, right, they've definitely promised more than what they're going to do. You then have the CEO saying you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't get this changed, like, because of the money situation.
Started to unravel a little bit.
Oh yeah. And like I said, then he was getting messages from the technical director saying he's hearing from upstairs that you have to play this lad at the weekend. I went, you've got the wrong manager in if you think I'm going to pick a player. Like, telling me I've got to start 16-year-olds in the team, 17-year-olds, and I'm going, nah, like, not at all. And then, like I said, I then had to go out and get free agents. There was one lad that I signed as centre half. He was about to retire and move to America to become a coach. Another lad that I worked with at Chelsea that was out of the game for 9 months. That's where we were signing players.
Yeah.
And in fairness, the actual games, if you looked at like the way the game went, you'd go, you're absolutely dominating teams, doing great. But we was such a small team. Like, we weren't big at all. We was losing set pieces. We didn't have any experience that was a good influence on the group, especially from a defensive aspect.
Right.
The oldest player we had there obviously was Charlie Austin, who was obviously past his best and couldn't move very well anymore. And you're like, from a defensive aspect, he wasn't great because he was the 9.
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean?
sure.
So you need people that are good, like, controlling it from behind. And like, we conceded a lot of set pieces and late goals in games, but when you look at how young we were, it was probably one of the youngest in the league. You're like, yeah, that's why I need to be able to change the like the setup and the framework of the group.
So sort of get a spine of the team. Is that what you sort of?
Yeah, and just people that have got experience of
Yeah.
the league, but also we needed physicality. So we're going. I had like small little midfielders that could play and lovely, but you had to. Our pressing stats were unbelievable because they all wanted to do it. And like, lucky enough, I had a good coach in Ed Brand, and we was trying to get them to press. Where pressing was brilliant, but as soon as teams started going long, especially late in games, we never had people that could deal with the physical side of it. From, like I said, we were pressing well from a physical aspect, but dealing with aerial balls and conceding fouls, or like sort of the young nature of the group, we'd concede a lot of goals, and like it was difficult. But yeah, I remember even coming in from training once to even use the room that was separated by partitions just to get your gear back on, and they was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, we forgot to tell you, this is bridge afternoon." So you'd have like 10 like
old girls playing bridge.
elderly people playing bridge.
Oh, he's thinking, I'll have a bit of that.
Where is this?
right up Rory Street, isn't it?
So when you're going, so then like when you're talking about like you want to, I don't know, have a debrief with your staff,
Yeah,
or you want to
100%.
talk and all that, you're going, we've got to go back to the stadium now anyway, because you can't do anything at the training ground. And then sometimes you get back to the stadium and you want to speak to people about certain things that are going on at the club, and they're not at the
I feel
the
like
stadium.
your hands are tied there, doesn't it? I mean, it's
Yeah,
great
all I
insight.
wanted-
It is amazing
unbelievable.
Listen,
insight.
all I wanted was to be able to bring in some players at the end of the season, have one just give me a transfer window so I can change the
And an
the setup.
office.
Yeah,
Big
I
dreams,
mean-
isn't
I
it?
mean,
I have an
fair-
office, mate.
In
Yeah.
fairness, they give me an office at the stadium, but we had to move. Like, it was where like one of the groundsmen used to store his stuff, so they moved
way.
stuff out for it. Like, put a telly in there, put a desk in there. They done that at the stadium.
I suppose if you knew what you were signing up for, I guess, like you said, that this comes all the way back round to you saying, I just wish to ask a few more questions. So that makes complete sense.
I mean, and like I said, it was the element. I was speaking to the owner regularly about changes that need to be made. We need to start looking at. But even like, I never heard from the technical director for 3-4 weeks, and he wouldn't answer my calls. And then when I did speak to him, he said, "Look, I got sacked, but I haven't been able to say anything because he's trying to sort out." I'm like. So I'm on me, like I'm trying to speak and trying to get things done for
But
next
you're ringing
season.
him up and he can't answer you because he can't talk about
so
it.
he's obviously, I think, in his own, and he was all right fella, by the way, Sandro, and he was just saying, look, what they've been telling you is totally different to what they're telling me. So listen, and I was speaking to the owner saying, let's get to the end of the season, let's get some players, and he was saying, look, as soon as you'll be fine, blah blah blah. And I then just said to him, look, by the way, I'm going to have a chat with Charlie Austin because he ain't going to be in my starting 11 next year, but
Right.
he was fine, okay around the place, was all right with the lads, I think, and I got on sound with him. So I've seen things.
I didn't know whether to bring it up, but I've seen that clip as well where he seemed to think that there was something between the
No,
two
listen,
of
he
you.
said, I just didn't get on with him and see eye to eye. I was like, my mate sent me it, and I was like, that was news to me. I never had one cross word with Charlie Austin.
right,
The
okay.
whole time I was there, he never said anything to me about anything. I give him days off when he needed it because, as I said, he's at the wrong end of his career and couldn't move great anymore. But I was just like, listen, you're not going to be the main number 9. I had people in my head who I wanted to sign. I wanted more of a agility up front. I wanted people that can play different positions. Charlie was a 9. Like I said, couldn't run in behind, couldn't maybe press as well as I'd want.
Yeah.
But also done okay for us, by the way. He weren't, like I said, I until recently I was like, I didn't have a cross word with him.
Yeah.
And then he was like saying, I'm leaving the training ground. I'm going, I've just told you what the training ground was like. And by the way, when I'd be back at the stadium, I didn't see Charlie Austin back at the stadium. Like, do you know what I mean? It's so it surprised me to hear, but listen, that's obviously his version of things that went on. But like I said, it was absolutely news to me that, like,
He has a pop at me on a regular basis.
Oh,
yeah, I
there
can
you
see
go.
that.
It must be a Chelsea
No,
thing.
no,
He's
no,
all right
no,
with
no.
me.
Well, right. You don't know that one.
No, but even just going back to that, so even going back to the conversation I had with Charlie, because he said, I think his words were, "Oh, you silly, whatever," about like a conversation we had, and I thought, I'm giving him his due here as a former player, showing him a bit of respect.
Right,
like they
yeah.
made him captain the day before I became manager because the owner signed him and was like, him and the owner were mates in Australia, right? So that side of it, and I thought I'm going to give Charlie his due before I tell the owner. I'm going to say this to Charlie. I'm going to tell Charlie first. So then I'll tell the owner, by the way, I've had a word with Charlie. I was saying he's not going to be our main number 9 next year. But I said to him, if he wants any help trying to move and transition to what you're going to do after the your season, your football finishes, I would help you.
Yeah.
Like you're going, because by the way, I weren't saying you're not going to be here. I knew he had another year. He was saying, I didn't. Oh, you silly, but you don't realise I got another whatever on my contract. I knew all that. I knew what the contracts were.
Yeah.
And I knew that he was the owner's mate. So I knew that it weren't going to go down great with the owner, but I was like, I have to do what's best for the football club and the team, not what's best for like the relationship between the owner and a player. Mm-hmm. And if we used what Charlie was being paid, I could get 2, maybe 3 players in, especially on what I was getting players in to come in for me. So I was like, 3 more versatile, more like agile attacking players will suit me. And by the way, he could still be around the place and still could be sub. If he didn't want to come on a sub, I was getting a feel to like go, okay, Charlie, if you don't want to be coming on a sub, then maybe it might be worth having a conversation, or let's just see how we go.
Yeah. But it sounds
and like I said, I had a chat with him and he didn't say anything. He went, I do want to carry on playing. I was like, well, look, have a think about it and let me know. And then I spoke to the owner the day before about something that we was going to do pre-season. He was going, oh, look, as soon as you get your team in, this is great. And 2 days later, I got sacked, just like as I said. And the owner was saying, oh, it's because it's not working. I went, why didn't you tell me this like 2 days ago when I was speaking to you about it? I went, it just seemed that since I've had a chat with Charlie, and he was like, no, like it clearly was because I had a chat with Charlie.
It stinks a bit.
I mean, where you're at, it ain't put you off. Obviously, you still got a desire to go on and take a managerial role somewhere.
Well, you've worked alongside Frank at Derby and Chelsea, which I imagine is like completely different. So I mean, you pair. I mean, first of all, what was that experience like? And like Benson said there, what's next for you?
I don't know. I mean, I've been trying to get back in for a while and missed out. Been close to a number of jobs, both pre and post Swindon, but I think it's difficult. It's a difficult industry when people forget about you quite quickly. Like I said, and there's so many good coaches out there and so many people getting jobs or want jobs. It's hard. It's definitely something I've always would like to keep my ears and eyes open to, but who knows where or like what level it would be at. I mean, like I said, it might be a first team coach or an assistant, or it might be a manager if that suits, but who knows?
Yeah, for sure.
Can I come in as sort of head of sort of marketing or so, or,
yes,
or
please.
team promotion?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Get us in, Jody. But I think it's having that desire, like when you're hearing Jody talking, the passion and that that love that he's got for the game, and you hear from loads of players that used to play with, and that desire to be in every day, on the training pitch, to sort of smell of the grass, be in and around the lads and make them big decisions.
It sounds
you've
to me
got to
like
have something about you to be able to sort of do that every day, and obviously a talent that Jody's got. But you're doing the Baller League, aren't you?
Yeah, with
yeah,
JT,
23.
We've got that on. We're actually training tomorrow, and then we got the first game Monday.
Oh, so that's gonna that's the coaching
Playing
career.
your Angry Ginger's team first week on Man United, boys.
United.
But that's been fun. We got a real good group of lads that in our team there, and obviously it's good fun element to it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's going to be amazing. Right, well, first of all, thank you so much for that. That was such a lovely deep dive.
Pleasure.
Yeah, it was really insightful, and you didn't pull away from any questions, which is I wouldn't expect anything less.
I'm a boxer now, ain't I?
I am.
Fighting men. Here we go, though, boys. This is where we're going to kick off with some reaction, and there's only one place to start. Horrifically wrong, you might say, you two. Those predictions for Manchester United. Hold on.
Don't push the blame here. I was only trying to put him off.
Hold on. Honestly, I'm so glad the comments are pulling you up on it. I'm so happy because I said it weren't going to go down like that. I did go for Liverpool win. I'm going to put it out there, but I said it'd be tight. You were saying 3-0 at half time. You were saying we're going to get pumped 4-1.
Well, I was saying pumped 4-1.
What happened there then?
Well, I think you got a poor Liverpool side at the minute, though, in recent weeks.
Yeah.
Man United turned up and I thought they performed well, but to say they're going to get pumped 4-1, I've got to hold my hands up. I will be getting punished.
You can make a prediction that at the time is sound that is then looks very foolish after the event. But
it didn't feel sound at the time to me.
It don't start. This is what he does. Charlie Austin's turned up.
Do you know what the whole conversation has to be about though? Like, it has to be about like Mohamed Salah in the starting lineup. Like that's the conversation.
Yeah.
Are Liverpool a better team? It feels ridiculous to say it, but are they a better side, a better starting 11 without Salah in the side?
What do you think?
Massive statement.
Well, I mean, if you look at their performance in Europe, you look at Wirtz playing out wide, coming in, 2 assists, his first 2 assists for the club. Ekitike looks like a superstar. Like, the Isak injury changes this conversation a touch, maybe, but Salah didn't start, and they won 5-1.
Yeah.
5 different goal scorers away from home in Europe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like madness to me to say that they're a better team without Salah when you think about the icon that he is.
You're not the only one saying
But
it.
maybe there's something in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Liverpool are in a difficult position at who they've signed, and it was sort of talking about Wirtz like in there. I think he's a player that you have to give the ball. The whole team has to be programmed into playing through that man. If you play through that man, he's going to dictate the game and dictate how the team's going to play, and then he can feed and supply that front line. Whereas before under Salah, he's getting a lot of his balls from the fullbacks. You know, they'd come back and they'd sort of attack in that way, give him the ball straight away, and he could make errors and so on, but he'd come away with his goals. But I think they've signed similar players in certain positions, which makes it more difficult. And I think with Salah, it's a difficult point at the minute what the manager's going to do moving forward, whether he's going to stick with this decision to drop him, because you drop him for one game and then you leave him out for 4 and 5. You're creating a bigger problem.
Then, if you drop him from Europe, you can kind of call it rotation, and it makes sense. If he doesn't start against Brentford, it's a statement.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think they needed Isak. You know, I said it, and I felt stupid for saying it at the time, because Ekitike is an unbelievable player, worthy of being a star man in most sides in the Premier League. And you've got Alexander Isak now, who I think is similar to Manchester United, where they signed 2 10s and now they can't play Bruno in the 10, and they've given themselves a headache by the signings they've made. I think Liverpool have done the same. I understand why most people would say Isak will improve the side, but I just think Ekitike looked like he was thriving.
But there's a way that they could do it. So, you know, this system of 3, like it used to be Mane, Salah, Firmino through the middle.
Sure, yeah.
Then it's become sort of Luis Diaz, Salah, Nunes. Like, it's been this 3 up front.
3, yeah.
Maybe it becomes 2 up front. Isak can definitely play in a 2. Ekitike played in a 2 at Frankfurt, didn't he? Him and Marmoush up front. So,
but you're asking Slot to change his philosophy, you know, to a degree there.
I think he is that, though. He's a pragmatic manager. You know all this philosophy.
I don't think it necessarily needs to be the philosophy. You can still have the same philosophy and play a different formation.
Different shape.
It doesn't. That the philosophy side of it is more along the lines of what your principles are as a team. Are you a passing team? Are you
long ball
team? Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, well, and how do you press? Like, I mean, he was talking about pressing last night. That he was able to press because people were trying to play. Now that is an element that's hard sometimes.
Yeah, that was a dig at Man United, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was definitely a dig at Man United.
Yeah, and I get it though, because some of the joy that you would have as a coach, you're begging teams to pass out because you're a good pressing team, and then I know there's a load of former players that talk about it going, well, why don't you just miss it out? And you go, well, it's all right if you want to miss it out. If you put it down Konate's or Van Dijk's throat, usually they're the ones coming out on top of that side as well. Do you know what I mean? So
Curtis Jones very important, I think.
Yeah,
I think very important to them. But look, it's a game of the weekend in a way because they just have to win.
Are they home or away to Brentford?
I don't know. I think away, but I'm not sure.
They were at home to Man United, weren't they? So they'll be away at Brentford.
Yeah.
I think it's just difficult. They've got to be careful on that the environment sort of point of view. You know, if you sign players, they all think they believe and should be playing. It's whether Salah and people like that start causing trouble within the group, you know, which doesn't sort of tie into a sort of title challenge and winning mentality.
AFCON, won't he?
Yeah,
which could be a bit like, if you don't want him in the team, I appreciate him sitting on the bench as a distraction.
Yeah,
but he will be going to AFCON fairly soon.
Yeah,
so they'll have to live without him then.
Yeah, well, they got the midweek win, so like you say, it's a big one this weekend. Last time we were all sat here, it was Ange Postecoglou who was in charge of Forest.
Yes.
So, and it was 15 minutes after the game he's been sacked. It's a bit of a circus in my opinion, Nottingham Forest at the moment. I understand people saying that they're just ripping the band-aid off. If you're going to do it, do it. But I just, it felt distasteful to me, but it is what it is. But the main question here is Sean Dyche coming in. How do you think that's going to go down? What do you think? How do you think he'll perform for Forest this season? It's a big team, Forest, and I think there's a high percentage of his goals that come from set plays, so it could go well. What do you think, Jody?
Well, I've always liked Sean Dyche. I think he got a little bit of a bad rap when you're talking about
Everton.
Do you know what I mean? But I've always liked him. I think he's a character. I think he's good in and around players, and I think when teams are going through bad spells or where they need personality and character, I think Sean Dyche is a perfect fit to do that. Now, listen, whether Nottingham Forest are going to be talking about style of football, I doubt they are. They just want to win football games. I mean, they've had two contrasting managers already when you talked about Nuno and Ange. They play totally different football. So I think the minute you start winning, styles of play go out the window anyway, because people are happy. It's just when you're not winning, that's when everyone wants to talk about styles of play, because it's just not exactly. Do you know what I mean?
And winning itself is entertaining, isn't
of course,
it? And therefore it doesn't matter if he starts getting results. Nobody's going to care about the entertainment value. But it's whether he does.
Do you think he will?
Not really. No, I don't.
Really?
No.
You don't think it will work out?
I just think that it's just gone wrong. It's just gone so wrong now, and so turning that ship round is going to be very tough. The question is, I guess, can they go down? Will they go down? Probably not, which I guess now is a success. Survival would be a success for Forest. They've got to be the set of supporters in the country that know about the pitfalls of relegation. So they simply have to stay up. Does Sean Dyche keep him up? Probably.
Yeah.
But as well as he's done in his career, and he is an interesting manager, and I do sort of share Jody's approach to it a bit, it was so stale at Everton.
Yeah.
So stale. And that was the most recent experience we've had at Dyche.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't get it right soon, it could start going really wrong. Marinakis, who knows what he'll do. I can see a world where they go down, which is great news for the likes of Leeds United. Anyone that's dreaming of survival, they needed someone else to be sucked into it. And the fact that West Ham United and Nottingham Forest have both made a pig's ear of their season so far, it's great news for the teams that are promoted.
It just showcases, doesn't it, how important it is to create an environment and create football, how hard it is to win football matches. When you've got somebody in like Nuno and you've got Pep in, and when Fergie was there, they create an environment where, Jody mentioned it earlier, where from manager down, I think Hoddle did it. It creates where the whole youth team, everybody's set up for that ideology, that way of playing, that approach, and everyone becomes part of that culture and environment. And that culture environment is set up to win football matches. And as soon as you sort of dismantle that, it's where you get the problems. West Ham have done it. Everton did it, didn't they, when they sort of Moyes went, and Forest are doing it now. And they've got to be careful what they wish for. But I do like Sean Dyche. I think he's a good character. He's a good manager, and he's showcased that he's a good manager. But
do you keep him up though?
Yeah, you're having him at Forest.
I think potentially he could keep him up. Yeah, I think he could. He's got the minerals to be able to do it. But it's that environment of a football club. As soon as you sort of dislodge that and you come away from that, it's when all the problems come, because everybody's sort of geared up within that sort of structure to follow that manager, to follow what he does and how he does, and all the players. I don't know how you feel about it.
I just feel like it's a real example again of how much confidence is such a huge thing in sport. Because if you look at how confident Nottingham Forest were last year, I know they didn't finish the season maybe as great as they wanted to, but once you get players that are low on confidence, it's hard sometimes to shake that. And that's a lot of the reasons why people do make changes to managers, is because they're trying to shake up the situation that the players themselves are in at the moment. And I'm not saying they haven't got any leaders or characters they have at Nottingham Forest, but just shows you the importance of confidence, because it's like chalk and cheese from where they were last season.
It's unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? Do you know this calendar year, like this same calendar year that we're in now, I remember listening to talkSPORT, and Jim White and Simon Jordan had a bet about Nottingham Forest winning the league.
Yeah, exactly.
That was this year.
Yeah.
You look at where they are now. This same calendar year, it would have been in February. Jim White had a bet on air with Simon Jordan that Forest will win the league.
Yeah, it's
we're now talking about going
relegation.
down.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I completely agree. We'll see. Is the answer, and I'm sure we'll be reacting week by week to how Dyche does. But we wish him the best of luck, no doubt. Let's.
I'm not sure I did.
I think Chelsea will be alright staying up.
The majority of the room do. Yeah.
Okay, Arsenal. We talked about this version, the glamorous Invincibles. Amazing midweek game as well, wasn't it? In the Champions League.
The glamorous crazy gang.
Yeah, the
glamorous crazy gang.
Not Invincibles, the glamorous. Well, what
the glamorous crazy gang?
The glamorous crazy gang.
The sexy crazy gang. That's what they are, isn't it?
It's
throw-ins into the box. Big battering ram of a centre forward. Goals from set pieces.
Yeah.
It's Dave Bassett.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, do you know what? What's that Chelsea team called? They conceded what was 15
goals. That was Mourinho's first team.
Did they have a name? Did they have a name? It doesn't have a name.
No,
does it?
95 points. Won the league with 95 points. We haven't got a Centurions or an Invincibles.
No.
We haven't got that.
No,
but
hell of an
ones,
achievement.
weren't they?
But yeah, 95 points, 15 goals conceded, which weirdly, after 8 games, we'd conceded 3, which is exactly the same as what Arsenal are on now.
So my follow-up question: can this Arsenal side achieve that or do better?
Impossible.
Why is it impossible?
It's impossible. There
Why?
are some records in football that are there to be broken. I believe someday someone will go invincible again. Preston North End have actually done it, and for some reason we just pretend that didn't happen. This invincible thing, it's amazing. It deserves nothing but praise, but it will happen again. Alan Shearer's 260 will be beaten. 15 goals conceded. Check Terry Carvalho with Makelele in front, Mourinho as a manager. It's just not beaten. 15 is so low.
It's also...
It's amazing.
It's
I agree.
one bad day at the office, it's over. You lose 3-0, it's over.
It's also an element of, like, the Invincibles sounds unbelievable. It sounds great. But anybody who gets 1 point more than the Invincibles were better than the Invincibles.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, you got Bentley. Look at him.
No, and by the way,
Statistically,
I've already said that team is the toughest I played against.
No, I hear
that
what
group
you're
of
saying,
players,
yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
like, it literally. There's no way around it. It is.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
but that's what you get if you have 12 draws.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's like they were a tough team to beat. Don't get me wrong, but they didn't win anywhere near as much as the other boys.
The Arsenal team of 98 that won a double. The Arsenal team of 02 that won a double is factually better than the Invincibles.
Yeah, no, look,
Like, it's fact.
Like I said, it sounds great.
for the record,
Yeah.
no, I agree. I think that Chelsea record is the best.
I don't think it will ever be broken.
But I don't. You've got Gabriel, you've got Saliba, and David Raya's an unbelievable keeper as well. Arteta looks like he's coming into his own. He knows-
Zubimendi, Rice protecting.
It's
Great.
amazing.
I think it's great.
So why are you so confident that they can't that won't get beaten?
Because it isn't as good as a back line as the back line that Mourinho had. Arteta's obviously not as good a manager as Mourinho was. And ultimately, all it takes from now to the end of the season, we're only a quarter of the way in. It's one bad day. That Chelsea team didn't have a bad day at the office.
But they're level. They're level in terms of
They're
goals
level at the
conceded
moment.
right now.
They're level at the moment. But all it takes over Christmas, over Easter, like one bad day. You honestly, one game where you concede 2 or 3, suddenly it becomes like majorly in jeopardy. I'll put my house. Nothing.
We need to put his house on it.
He went how?
Yeah,
I'll put my hand.
No, do you know what?
Put the handbrake up.
Do you know what? Yeah,
Put it back in.
I don't know. I can't put that.
Come on.
Yeah.
No, look, I just don't think. What do you think?
Ben,
I don't think he'll get
No.
beaten. No.
15 goals.
Do you think he'll
It's
get
very
beaten?
difficult to beat that. I mean, they're showing signs of a really strong team that they look destined to win the league this year.
Yeah.
I mean, Gabriel and Saliba at the back, the way it goes back to a Chelsea player, talking about Chelsea, goes back to JT, they celebrate when they make these last-ditch challenges. They're putting their heads in places, they're dominating. Whoever goes up against them, they're physically dominating them. They're setting the tone of the team, they're setting the tone of the standards that need to be set within that football club. I mean, set plays, for and against, they're incredible. And that shows from a team's perspective how good they are and disciplined they are.
But even the white boys, look
Yeah.
at what everyone. You hear people talk about Saka and go, "Oh, is he like?" For me, I think he's a world-class player. But what he does for the team as a wide right player,
Yeah.
from a defensive aspect and the work rate and the protection and the help he gives to his inside midfielder or the fullback behind him or the striker that wants to go and press, and the work that they get through, like in front of the back four. So the back four and the keeper are always going to get the pats on the back. What happens in front of them is very, very good defensively. Very, very good.
Well, that's the argument.
And
that
that's Arteta.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's the argument that Liverpool are saying about Salah, that he's not doing that defensive sort of
Yeah,
discipline.
that's
That's not allowing that team to be able to go on and kick on. And I think that's something that they recognised in him. But Arsenal, unbelievable what they're doing. They've really shown signs. You know, it's taken 5 years to give Arteta time to build the culture within the football club. I think everyone's bought into sort of what he's trying to do, and it's looking at the minute. They're looking like pretty much the strongest team in the Premier League at the minute.
Do you know what? You talked about set pieces quickly. Do you think you'd have thrived in this Arsenal side?
Because
I think he would have.
From a set play point of view, yeah. I think back when we were playing, it was, I think corners were and set plays. It was just reliant on the delivery being good and people attacking the ball. I think the most we did was one hand up for the near post, two hands for the back stick, and then the big boys going.
Isn't it, compared to today's game?
From a defensive point of view, there was work done defensively on stuff in the clubs that I played for, but it wasn't a sort of cultural thing that is now, that each club and each management team have their own specific set play guy. I mean, what a job that is. I wouldn't mind that job. But they are, you can see actually how much advantage that's going into teams. It's giving them sort of that sort of extra bit, isn't it, and getting more points on the board, because and Arsenal are the showpiece to that. How many goals and how apparent it is from set plays.
It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy as well, because the opposition starts panic when you concede a set piece. He's trying to not give them away. The home crowd, if it's at the Emirates, there's an element of expectation when they get a set piece, and it kind of starts breeding a confidence and a fear in the opposition.
For me, it's probably a little bit of a hate of mine that there's a big focus on the set piece coach, where you're like, the delivery's great from Saka or Deck. I know Saka never had the best delivery at the weekend. I think he said it himself, but it's all about who you've got in the box. It's like you go back to the days of Ivanovic, Terry, Gaz Cahill, and all that.
They was just like responsibility. Was like, always on the opposition.
Put the ball in the box, and we'll attack the ball well. Now you've got Saliba, Gabriel that do exactly that, and you've got a good delivery. Because they've got people that will line up 10 yards to the right of the group and then all run in at the same time, and then all of a sudden get there, you're like, it looks great, but it's like they're arriving at a place where they would usually be standing anyway. Like, and also defensively, last season when they was getting praise for their set pieces, they weren't great defensively at spells last year. So like, the set piece coach is obviously there for a reason, but to hang your hat on, they're doing this because they're set pieces, and sometimes it's dressed up great, that like the set, but for me it's like delivery, and have you got people that can attack it and are good in the air. You weren't happy with him
getting a mural, were you, at Arsenal? That Nico Jova?
No, I mean it's also, like I said, it's because you see a set piece coach standing up every time there's a corner, there's like an emphasis and a focus on it, but it's only what coaches have been doing the whole time. You'd have a coach that was part of your first team staff that would take care of set pieces. It's like, because there ain't a big camera that goes on him, we go, right, he's up again talking because it's like set pieces. It has been going on for ages, like for years. The set piece coach, he's just dressed up as.
It's where Ange got under so much pressure at Tottenham in the amount of and Forest, where how and he obviously come out publicly, made the same statement, didn't he? Where he backed obviously clubs.
I don't care about set pieces.
I don't care about set pieces.
What are you talking about?
Like
what are you on about?
And I'm not saying that. I care about set pieces.
For the record.
I'm just going, by the way.
Done it, mate.
He would run that by Mikel Arteta, like that happens at every club up and down the country, by the manager, and go, are you happy with this, Gaffer? And he'll go, no, change that. Same sort of thing like Anthony Barry used to do at Chelsea, and would want to speak to Lamps, and Lamps would go, I don't know about that, and then Anthony would go, all right, what about this? He'd come and be creative.
I've got you.
But there's times when you don't need to be creative because you've got good people that can attack the ball.
Right, I've got to be quick here. Right, we've got to go through our Studs Up ACCA. Right, so we get given a fixture, the three of us, and we have to pick the results. Now, there's been some incredible predictions. I mean, they were trying
Howlers
to get it to go.
from Bentley.
Yeah, they were.
Chelsea 3-0. I said last week, 3-1. Great pundit.
What did you
top
go
of the
for
league
last week?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You're on the same score as me then. And
stop trying to pass the back. Sorry, Man United. But
that's what I do. It's called deflection. It's my tactic in life. Yeah.
So Bence is currently top.
the curry.
Bence is currently top on 1 point because you went for the
favourite.
No,
honestly.
You went for the favourite.
Yeah. You're changing, man. You're changing the rules every week. Yeah, I've won since I've come through the door. Obviously, through experience and sort of great knowledge about the game, and obviously being the greatest podcast and the greatest pundit there is, I am top of the league. That's why you'll be eating the hottest curry in England tonight.
We have to rank it in terms of like how wrong your prediction was.
Oh, it would be good if we do that.
I went 3-1 Chelsea, 3-0 Chelsea.
4-1.
No,
Liverpool,
I went
right?
3. No.
That was mine.
It's just my opinion.
Right, I've got to get
yes.
Give me your score prediction. Who you think's going to win? I'm going to get allocated the fixture.
Right, come.
Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. Tell me who that's going to win. What's the score going to be? We'll give you a bonus point for the score.
Crystal Palace, they've been incredible this year.
Yeah.
Defensively, unbelievable organisation. Manager's done a great job. But believe that Arsenal are just too good at the minute. They're too disciplined. They're too organised. They're at home, and I believe it's going to be 2-1.
2-1 to the Arsenal. All right, cool. I've been given Aston Villa versus Man City. I think this is a tough one because Villa are in a rich vein of form right now. I am very, very tempted to go for a draw, and I know I say that every week. I'm very, very tempted because I just
sit on the fence.
But I won't do that because I just feel like the form that Haaland is in is going to sway my mind to say I'm going to go for Manchester City. But I'm going to go 2-1. So I'm going to say City beat Villa 2-1 at Villa Park. That's my prediction. Lock it in. And you've been given Everton versus Spurs.
Oh, here we go. We go.
Draw.
1-1 draw.
Okay, go ahead. Quick, in a sentence.
1-1 draw. Jack Grealish back to form.
Yeah.
And Tottenham are quite a good side. It's not a bad point for them.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Right, we're going to lock them in. Done. That's it.
Oh,
and you can get
quick for Rory.
I can tell. Can you not tell? You're not getting the vibe. That
All right. Quick.
I'm going to lose a room. Go. I'm going to lose a room. I'm going to lose a room. And the reason why, I mean, you can get that on site and on the app as well on talkSPORT Bet, the STUDS Up ACCA. But the reason why is because we've got a little bit of time here to do a Mount Rushmore. That's why. And STUDS Up is the home of Mount Rushmore.
I can tell there was something.
The home of Mount Rushmore.
And you're just going to watch my tone just slow
Yeah,
down.
that was calmer.
I feel better now.
Yeah,
you're getting me all
I
worked
didn't mean to
up.
panic you, boys. Sorry about that. So the Mount Rushmore. Now it's an interesting one, this, because the Mount Rushmore this week is going to be the Premier League era's most underrated players. So we're all going to pick one. But the reason why that's been born is because David Bentley's been doing rounds again on social media. He got put in an overrated 11
Do you know what I mean,
by YouTuber Tom Garrett.
Tom Garrett.
Did he?
He did.
Who's Tom Garrett?
In an overrated 11.
Sounds all right. Sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
He knows ball, the boy. He knows ball.
Yes.
So it just got me thinking. What we'll do is we'll take the high road there, Bents, and we'll go for the underrated Mount Rushmore in the Premier League era. So you can all have someone in mind. I'm going to kick us off right with my one. Obviously, I'm going to put a little Man United bias in it. Can you have a little guess who I might go for? Manchester United underrated in the Premier League era.
Michael Carrick.
Got it.
I was going to pick him.
Oh, I'm glad I went
was that
first.
good, yeah?
I'm glad I went first. I just feel, we talked about that balance in the England setup.
Agreed.
He just got overlooked. And in terms of what he did for Manchester United, he was... Obviously, Paul Scholes is unbelievable, but on multiple occasions he was running the show. And
They both play together as well,
Yeah,
loads of times.
I know.
Like, they love playing with each other. And again, two people that thought similar about the game. I
Exactly.
think. Like, he was better than Scholesy from reading the game from a defensive aspect. I think he'd done so many things for Rio and Vidic and all that. What Rio spoke about all the time is like his positioning and his IQ of like from a defensive aspect was brilliant.
Yeah.
Went underrated just because he didn't maybe fly into tackles and was like sort of
think
like
you're right.
as aggressive as some of the other.
And he played in an
midfielders.
era where it was very difficult to acknowledge his brilliance because Frank Lampard was scoring 20 goals a season. Like the focus is always going to be on Gerrard lifting a European Cup, Lampard scoring 20 goals a season guaranteed. It's hard to be
Didn't give
the
the ball
hero.
away.
Yeah.
Lovely player.
Right, move on to
Underrated.
Bents.
One that springs to mind, I don't know what it does, is Ashley Cole.
You think it underrated?
Underrated.
Yeah, I don't know why that is, or whether when we're talking about players that are not appreciated or put on the pedestal, what they're the best left back in the world. I don't know whether that's a good one as far as underrated.
Well, it's up to you. This is your pick for Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I think he's not.
You don't think he's...
I feel
everyone
like
says
he's not
amazing,
appreciated. Yeah,
but you don't
he's
think
not
he's
appreciated. Yeah, I don't know whether that's his off the field antic or what he gets up to.
You can lock him in if you want.
I don't know whether I'll lock him in. Give me a time to think.
I'll
about
move it.
this.
I'll come to you at the end then. Jody, what do you think then? Who makes a Mount Rushmore for underrated?
Like I said, I probably would have picked Carrick. Well, not probably. I was going to pick Carrick.
Yeah.
I would probably say someone like an Aspilicueta,
Okay, right.
who was really important to Chelsea. I think he's probably Chelsea's best ever right back. But I think the fact that he could play right back, left back, right side of a back three, left side of a back three,
Yeah.
and he loved defending. Like, so in 1v1 situations, I think he was outstanding and used to train like it every day.
Yeah.
I would say someone like him, that because of the teams that he played in and the people that maybe got a bit of focus and attention with how well they done, I think he won everything as well. Like,
Yeah,
literally
you know,
everything.
yeah.
Like, so
I think it fits the criteria because you don't hear many people talking about Aspilicueta, but he was unbelievable.
yeah,
Wasn't he? He was,
he was a great defender.
Slung me off the pitch when Lampard broke the record though at Villa Park. So,
Did he?
He slung you off the pitch.
No way.
Bit of grass.
What?
Bit of grass.
You didn't confirm whether you were on the pitch, so you've just given yourself away there.
He came over.
Did he?
and slung us off. Yeah.
No way. There you go. We're definitely
Yeah, it's a
Mount
bit busy,
Rushmore
that,
then.
isn't
Bit
it?
busy.
Yeah, especially when he broke the
you
record.
charged the pitch.
Everyone did.
Oh, right,
It was
right.
one of the
All
biggest
right.
moments. You know,
Great, great,
everyone.
great
The
moment,
shirt,
isn't
the
it?
shirt,
And he
that
checked you up.
Yeah.
and he,
brilliant.
that's why I'm always slow to be too complimentary.
Give me your. Well, it would be the fourth face technically on Mount Rushmore.
Right, I'll put one forward and we discuss it. Right.
Go on.
I think Mark Hughes, one of the best strikers Chelsea have ever had.
a
One
good
of the best
shout, Mark
strikers, mate.
Hughes,
And
yeah.
you know when you do top 10 strikers of all time, Premier League era, nobody ever talks about Mark Hughes. He's
Yeah.
like criminally left off.
Yeah.
It's one of the best strikers Chelsea have ever had. And he came to us when he's 31 years old. It wasn't even the
What a
best
guy.
version of Mark Hughes. I think he was just
Unbelievable.
I think he's forgotten at Chelsea. Vicenza.
Yeah, come on the sub for
Vicenza.
me. Come on the sub for me.
Did he?
Yeah, so
Wow.
Changed the game.
I was actually playing
hello.
right. I was playing right. I looked over. I was going, come on, like,
Honestly, any Chelsea fan, you just say to them Vicenza, they go Mark Hughes. You go Liverpool, one of the best atmospheres. Did you play in that? 97?
No. But-
You'd have been
no,
so
no,
young then,
yeah.
wouldn't you?
No. I've been in around the first team. I was injured. I was in the stand watching that.
Mate, Liverpool, we're 2-0 down at half time. Possibly the loudest I've known Stamford Bridge. Third round of the Cup, we're 2-0 down again. I think like Collymoore's Liverpool.
Yeah.
Hughes comes on, we win 4-2. Vialli got 2, but Hughes comes on, changes the game.
Wow.
Wins us a European trophy. Like, I just don't understand why. You know when people talk about it, they'll go top 10 strikers and they'll go Jamie Vardy. Now I rate Vardy.
Yeah.
But Vardy didn't play the same sport as Mark Hughes, and everyone puts Vardy ahead of Hughes. Like, I think Mark Hughes, one of the best strikers that the Premier League has ever had.
Yeah.
Hey,
One
look,
of the
he's
best
on there.
strikers Chelsea have ever had.
Big
and
thighs
doesn't
on
get,
him, doesn't he?
with his back to goal, I'm not sure there's many that can be on the same level as him. He's definitely one of the best players I played with.
Stopped us winning the FA Cup in '94 as well. Man United played Oldham. They were Rizzler paper from going out the cup. We would have beat Oldham that final '94 as well. Hughes scores in the last minute, brilliant volley at Wembley, take it to a replay. I just think Mark Hughes, one of the best strikers ever.
He was unbelievable.
And he's just not ever spoken about.
Well, he's on. We're definitely going to get him
Talk
on.
to me about his training, because he always everybody used to say that he was one of the worst trainers.
Yeah, he was awful.
What, he didn't...
Yeah, but as
No,
a
no, he
manager,
used to train
he's
properly.
complete opposite.
Yeah, because we said
Yeah,
this, didn't we? But he
yeah.
used to, like, in the actual training game, you're going, you're used to him scoring all sorts
Yeah,
of volleys
yeah.
and
Yeah,
weldy
yeah.
goals.
Kick, yeah.
He would just want to run into people and all that, and I'd just go away and go. I remember thinking he's unbelievable on a Saturday. He just it weren't like he weren't trying.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
like
yeah.
other trainers, like you'd go Eden Hazard, you'd watch him train and go, he's not done his boots up, he's not done everything. But you know he's the best player in the Premier League when
I
he
love that.
gets a weekend. Mark Hughes would try and just wouldn't do it. Even when you do, I used to think, even when you do finishing, and I remember saying to him once, going, Sparky, what's happened to all the like weldy goals?
No
and he'll
way.
go, I'll bring in a DVD for you tomorrow. You can have a little, you can have a watch of it for a couple of hours. But it was like, and you got to forget, he played for Barcelona. He went to, is it
I know.
Munich? He went to Munich.
Munich,
Like,
yeah.
Fergie comes out and says, I shouldn't have sold him to Chelsea.
Yeah, I
He
know.
was brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant
it's a good
player.
shout. Go on, Bence, you got to give
Ashley
me a
Cole.
player now.
Stay with Ashley Cole.
Stay
I
with
don't know
Ashley Cole.
why, because I don't know whether, you know, when we've discussed it quite
Do
a
you
lot.
need to consult an OED for the word underrated?
I know, I'm sort of like, I know, yeah.
You could have put yourself.
It's boxing.
I was thinking about boxing, wasn't I?
Yeah, I put myself in there.
Everyone goes, the
put
best
Bentley
left
in.
back to have
Put
ever
Bentley
lived.
in.
We're
Underrated.
putting Bentley in there.
Yeah,
Forget it. We're
in
going to like
there.
that. We'll put Bentley in
Yeah.
there. And with that, that's it. That's another episode done, boys. I've got to say thank you to the regular suspects in Bence and Rory, but thank you so much, Jody, for that debrief about the fight and
Yeah,
insight
it was
into your life
insight.
as well. It was amazing.
Thanks for having me,
Love it,
guys.
Jody.
I
Brilliant.
know
Yeah,
it
it
was.
was
Thank
brilliant,
you.
yeah.
Pleasure. And thank you guys for watching as well. And we'll be back next week. Don't worry about that. Take care.